So one of the things that I wanted to talk about as we're approaching Easter is the idea of family and what we have been conditioned to believe as the notion of family, relatives. So my family to me is my husband and my children. That is my family because I chose to get married. I elected to have a husband, to have children, and now I do my very best to be with them, to be a wife and a mother, a teacher, a guide, a protector, all these things to them. Now, everyone outside of that circle to me is a relative, and it took me a very, 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 very long time, actually too long of a time, to learn that you do not have to allow people to treat you like If you watch Hallmark movies and all these things that make you believe that relatives and family and grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins all sit around a table and we sing Kumbaya together. Kumbaya, my lord, Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my lord, Kumbaya. But as we know, the reality is not that actually, at least not in my life. Perhaps you have this picture perfect family and relatives, and every time you get together, it's just joyous and life-giving and everyone is happy, and you walk away from that interaction feeling, wow, that was amazing. We should do this more often. That wasn't the case in my life. It wasn't the case in our lives together with my husband. We came to a point where we realized that the vast majority of our unhappiness was coming from our interactions with our relatives. And so that was creating a lot of problems in our marriage. It was creating problems in our home. We would have to go to an event and we would both be in a bad mood all day before we had to go there. We would fight with each other, we would argue, and we weren't even saying to each other like, I really don't want to go there. And the other person wasn't saying it either because we were afraid of what the other person was going to think, not knowing that we were actually thinking the same thing together. And there was another pressure that I was feeling, was that I wasn't enough to everyone that was in my life. So I wasn't giving people what they needed from me, whether it was time, whether it was telephone calls, whatever it was. I felt like I was always struggling to meet other people's expectations of me and what they needed from me. So I sent out what I called the atomic bomb, which was a message to everyone that I knew, friends, family, acquaintances, letting them know that I was going into a period of not being around so much. And so this way, they didn't take it personally that it was directed only at them. This went to a group of, I think it was 200 people, letting them know that I was in a period of change and of growth, and I was going back to school. I was going to be taking some courses, and of course I had to focus on my family, on my husband and my children, and making sure that I was there for them. What it did was it opened up space in my life for other things to come in, and for me to really realize, where is my life going? Am I happy with what I'm doing now? Is there somewhere I want to be in 5 years? So what that one message did, and it was really hard because I was so afraid of what people were going to think of me. I was so afraid of people making assumptions, which some of them did. And it's funny because the people who I assumed would make assumptions are the ones who sent me the messages saying, is everything okay? Is everything okay between you and your husband? Everything is fine. I just felt like I was in this hole trying to climb up to satisfy everyone's expectations of me. So what that did was it opened up space in my life, in my day, in my weeks, in my months, to focus on who am I and where do I want to be in 5 years or in 10 years, and what are the skills that I need to get me there. And the other thing that it did for my husband and I was it took away so much of the stress. Society tells you that you have to get together with family. Family is everything. Easter, Thanksgiving, there's Christmas, there's birthdays, there's anniversaries, there's baby showers, there's bridal showers, there's weddings. If you allowed your time to be dictated by commitments, by obligations, you would never have any time left to grow. When we had obligations at the end of the week, we were going here on Friday, we were going here on Saturday during the day, we were going here on Sunday evening, we were going to this place on Friday night, we were going to this place Saturday afternoon, another place Saturday night, then again somewhere Sunday. We were spending so much time with so many people that we weren't connecting as a family. And so what was important for our family was to have time for the four of us together, uninterrupted, not worrying about this person or that person, making sure that we were responsible for them and their emotions. We took time for the four of us, and it has done wonders for our family. It's done wonders for our marriage. We don't feel that like we were dealing with personalities who had their own issues, insecurities, fear, shame, dishonesty, judgments. It was one after another. And so if we parented our children and disciplined them, well, we were the bad guys for disciplining them. If we didn't discipline our children and our children, ran around like savages on tables, well, you should discipline your children. And so that's what I mean. It's like we could never be enough for the people around us. We felt like we couldn't measure up to whatever it is they wanted us to be. And in order to make them happy, we had to be people that we weren't. And so for 5 or 6 years now, we have not succumbed to society's expectation of you need to be this type of person in order to be a good human being and satisfy the expectations of everyone around you and make everyone else happy, but inside you're miserable. We don't do that. And so we only spend time the people who like water our spirits. Like imagine your soul as this flower, and the people that we spend time with are the people who water it. The other thing I was noticing when I was spending time with these people, a lot of them were negative. I'm not only talking about relatives, I'm talking about friends. And I don't know if you know this, but we have mirror neurons in our brains that mirror the behavior that we are witnessing, that we are with. And so I would notice that I would spend time with people, and the next day I was bedridden. I was so tired. I was dark. I was gloomy. I was taking naps. I couldn't be fully there for my children, and I couldn't understand why. And when I realized that theory of these mirror neurons, that I was actually mirroring the emotions that the people in front of me were acting out. So one of the most important things that I did years ago was to create boundaries with people, how much time I would spend with people, what conversations I was willing to have, and what conversations, frankly, I didn't want to waste my time on. And that did wonders for me, for my outlook on life, for the energy in my home, within my family. Ultimately, you get to dictate who you spend your time with. And it's okay to want to spend your time with people who lift you up, who make you feel good, who tell you positive things about yourself, instead of people who, make you feel bad or are always like chipping away at you. There's people like that, and unfortunately, they're so unconsciously doing it. They don't know that they're doing it. They don't know that they're so insecure that they're actually taking a chunk out of you because they don't want you to go beyond. So boundaries is definitely a big thing with the people that you spend your time with. And it's okay. I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's these uncomfortable feelings that we get with people when we have to get real and when the truth has to come out, but it's the only way that we're going to grow. And it's the only way that we can be truly ourselves. That is the only way that we can achieve true freedom. And last but not least, of course, honesty with yourself, honesty with your spouse, with your partner, communication, talking to each other, saying, you know what? I just want to be at home tonight. I just want to spend a quiet evening inside, just us talking, laughing, playing a game together, not focusing so much on the outside world, on the external. Take it inside. I promise you, you will not regret taking this journey. I love you. Thank you for watching. Until next time.